Okay, it's currently 1:27 p.m. So if that's not a sign that I should be filming a K-pop YouTube video, I don't know what is. Let's get started. YouTube, Reddit. Welcome back to episode 4, 3? I don't know. Episode of me reacting to K-pop Reddit questions and threads. We have a mouthful today. So, are there any groups that should mature when it comes to their concepts? So right off the gate, I'm not answering this question. This question just made me think of something else, which is I think the K-pop industry and most K-pop stans just think being mature is being sexy. When it comes to maturity in the lyrics, in the way the song sounds, in the topics of the song and styling, NMIXX does it so well, because I wouldn't say NMIXX is being sexualized. I feel like honestly they're one of the only girl groups that aren't, which, you know, everything is sexualized in pop culture to a certain extent, right? I feel like the most sexy thing they did was a little bit of the styling for when they like turn around, they did the little bow, we pop, bow, bow. That was about it. And even then, the way that it was like recorded, the way that it was packaged wasn't giving sexualized. And I think generally they're the only group that I can think of, especially being a girl group, that isn't like sexualized or recorded in the male gaze. When it comes to a mature concept, the first place everyone's mind goes to is sexy, but mature just means getting older. Maturing is your focus and problems don't become homework anymore. It becomes like work, or your problems become a little more complex, or you are able to have discernment more. Like, I just think NMIXX is really great with these things. I feel like over time their music has matured in a way where it's always been introspective, but it's gotten more laxed and laid back. I feel like Oh and Dice are probably the most popular songs that people know, but those are very loud and brash and in your face, and versus tracks like Dash and See That, which is my favorite title track by them, and Know That Too. So there are different ways you can take a mature concept, or there are different ways that when a group is growing up, you can reflect that in the music. Besides, oh, they're 18 now, we can start dressing them in really short skirts and stuff. Like, mature just doesn't only mean sexy. And I think NMIXX, the staff, is doing a great job at that with them. Vroom, vroom. Do you think Jungkook is boring as a solo artist? No. Period. Next sentence. I wish his first album was more cohesive. I was talking to my friends about this. The album felt like a bunch of different songs that he wanted to try doing, which makes sense because from the stuff he said, it seems like he just wanted to try a bunch of different songs. Like, this is his first fully English album, right? And really first time as a solo artist, he's really truly marketing himself to the West and exploring pop and exploring, you know, these different things with different songwriters and styles and instrumentals. So it definitely 100% makes sense that he did that and that his album is like that. I just think that, like, for what we had 7, we had 3D and Standing Next to You. To me, 7 and 3D are more similar, and Standing Next to You is a completely different thing, which is fine. I just think that when you are marketing yourself to an audience that knows nothing about you, i.e. you don't have K-pop stans that know you, and you're just marketing yourself to random Joe Schmo down the street in America, and he's like, okay, show me Jungkook. Who is Jungkook? And then you get 7 in 3D. I feel like from 7 in 3D, you'll be like, okay, so maybe kind of like a pop slash or like R&B person putting himself in that position where, okay, he sings and then a rapper comes in and does XYZ. And then you get Standing Next to You and it's like, okay, so like Michael Jackson inspired. I feel like these two things and this thing is like completely different. And then listening to the entire album, it just felt like a bunch of different songs. And I feel like once again, it makes sense that he did that going forward. And honestly, I think you do need an album like this, like, and I feel like a lot of artists do have albums like this, especially when it's like their first album, correct me if I'm wrong, like first album out, to like kind of figure out who you are. And even if you know who you are, it can be hard to translate that cohesively. So I'm looking forward to Jungkook's next project and next album, and hopefully it'll be a little more cohesive, because Jungkook has 100% obviously has the talent to be the biggest pop star out right now. Not just K-pop, like genuinely the biggest pop star out right now. He has the full package to be a household name globally. And especially in the West, your identity as a musician is so incredibly important, because that's how people latch on to you and relate to you. I also want to add in here that your identity as an artist in the West, in America, is kind of the foundation of what you build everything off of. To me, that's the most important thing. Not even if the music is good or not, no tea, because America's society is individualism. So figuring out who you are and letting your identity shine through is genuinely like one of the most important things when it comes to being an artist in America and just in the Western music industry. And doing a bunch, which it was mostly pop, right? Maybe a little R&B, but it was mostly pop. Doing a bunch of different genres isn't the problem. People have done a bunch of different genres in their project or album and over their career, and it's still be cohesive, because the thing that ties it together is identity. And I feel like when that's not fully tangible, it might feel a little more random. Full R&B album from Jungkook, Lord Jesus Jungkook. I mean, do whatever you want, but a full R&B album from you, holy fuck, bro, holy fuck, that would be so good. I feel like his first album, I feel like that style would suit Jungkook very well, but like he can do whatever he wants to do. What's your favorite Stray Kids song of all time? Item. I've said this before, but 5 Star by Stray Kids is the best musical project that they've ever come out with. I will link the reaction video of me listening to it below for the first time, but you can see my reaction on Item. Like, I claimed it before the song started even playing fully. To me, it encapsulates what Stray Kids does best. The song sounds so grand, especially when it builds up at the end, but at the same time has a really simple instrumental. It's able to do both things and balance it well. And then the instrumental is so unique and cool, especially very unique to anything they've ever done before. And of course, then the self-concept is super, super high, especially the item dependent, I'm self-dependent. I love that fucking lyric. Most K-pop songs have very high self-concept lyrics, but I feel like Stray Kids understands it in a different way that I feel like I also understand it in that way too. So I really like the lyrics that they do, especially when it comes to high self-concept and having high confidence. And just everyone shines in that song. Everyone does what they do best. I think Stray Kids also has very good line dividing, you know what I mean? Like, everybody sounds great. The rapping is great. Everything is great. And the dance is great. Item, Pengman, item. Hwasa said she would like it if in the future Korean artists getting married aren't viewed as negatively, like Rihanna and Beyonce, who have kids even perform while pregnant. She wants artists in Korea to be as free. Do you guys think married idols will ever be normal? No. I'm going to be 100% honest. No. I have a lot to say, so strap in. I think over time, idols will receive less backlash. And even saying that, I feel like that's such an Americanized view, because like that's not normal over here. Once again, Beyonce, Rihanna, Megan Thee Stallion, every single artist has publicly dated somebody or been married or had kids or gotten a divorce, and they publicly talk about it. Like, that is a widely accepted thing. So I feel like everyone around me and on the internet that I see is like, why the fuck is somebody getting kicked out for dating? Like, what the fuck? But like in Korea, it's very different, which is one of the reasons why K-pop idols are not allowed to date publicly. I say that, but I don't even know if they'll receive less backlash, because, a member got kicked out of Rise. So it's like we're making progress, but we're also not making progress because that same thing would have happened years ago. I think the progress is him getting put back in the group, but then it just didn't work out again anyway. So the reason why I don't think it will ever become normalized is because dating and being married publicly goes against one of the foundations of K-pop, which is the parasocial relationship. She mentioned people like Rihanna and Beyonce, and although those are great examples, it doesn't really work in the context of trying to put it within K-pop, because while Beyonce and Rihanna are a part of an industry that absolutely has parasocialism, the industry is completely different in terms of the parasocial relationship and the type of way the parasocialism is built. There's a channel that teaches you how to market yourself as an artist. The Western music industry is more parasocial in that way. These billionaires are trying to convince you that they're the girl next door, and depending on how they do it, they do a good job. I feel like in the beginning of Rihanna's career, she was just like the girl next door, and she still kind of has that image, which is crazy because she's a fucking billionaire. How do you come across as a relatable girl next door when you're a billionaire? I feel like a lot of people see her that way in her personality. She just says whatever and she doesn't give a fuck. She's super unfiltered and authentic. Beyonce now in her career, I feel like her marketing is that classic famous person super high up on a pedestal. I feel like honestly the way people feel about her is similar to the way people feel about a K-pop idol in terms of like putting them up on a pedestal and worshiping them. She is not accessible. She's unaccessible. You can't get her on an Instagram story. She's not doing like ads. Even her Instagram posts not having captions is also a way to show like she's not talking to you. You barely have access to her, and that makes her feel mysterious and larger than life. And that is the parasocialism that is created. It's more of like the identity and the identity that you're selling to fans and people in general. But the parasocialness in K-pop is more of the K-pop idol belonging to the fan. Parasocialism in the Western music industry, a person dating or getting married does not break the parasocialism. Like that entire thing that happened with Lizzo, where she and her part of her identity was preaching body positivity, to turn around and find out, I don't know if this was alleged or not, but I'll just say allegedly, she was fat shaming people and not creating a safe space when her identity was creating safe spaces for people. That's when people got mad at her, because she broke that parasocialness. Ugh, my back. But since the parasocialness in the K-pop industry is based off of ownership of the idol belonging to you and only existing for you, with bubble, fan calls, fan meets, send-offs, the thing that would break that parasocialness would be dating and getting married and getting pregnant. I'm not gonna lie, if these K-pop idols genuinely don't want to continue to live like this and do a lot of stuff in secret and not being able to like freely date and stuff, they're going to have to transition from K-pop idol to just artist, whether that be Korean artist or a Western artist. I think that's the only way that would change. They would have to like exit the K-pop industry. But yeah, I don't think that getting married or getting pregnant or dating will ever be normalized and accepted in the K-pop industry. Real talk, why is the K-pop fandom so toxic? So ciao. A whole video coming soon, I guess. But okay, here we go. Because of the K-pop industry's foundations, which is parasocialism and ignorance. Parasocialism creates the cult-like loyalty behavior from fans, not allowing room for discussion or discernment. Me earlier in the video saying that I wish Jungkook's first album was a bit more cohesive, people are gonna take that as hate and me hating on Jungkook. I literally made a video where I was like, hey guys, let's treat these idols, let's stop infantilizing these idols because they're like pushing 30. Like Jungkook is pushing 30, like let's not treat him like a baby and infantilize him. He's not 16 anymore. And I had armies try and join up against me to like shit on me and hate on me because we're normal, because we're super normal. The fact that performers are called idols and not artists already sets fans up to be doing something that they should never be doing to a human, which is worshiping them, putting them on a pedestal and thinking that they're perfect and they can't do anything wrong. So that's why when you see K-pop idols do something bad, you see fans like defending them for saying a slur, and you have fans defending idols from ignorance or assault or being a predator and all that other shit, which allows people who already feel like that shit is okay to enter the K-pop space, which creates the K-pop space being more toxic and racist and sexist and all that shit. Korea is a homogenized society, and when there isn't as much diversity from where you are, obviously that can create ignorance. The K-pop industry copying and taking or being inspired from Black artists along with other POCs without educating themselves leads to consistent ignorance, cultural appropriation, racism, etc., which goes back to people seeing that and fans seeing that, and whoever feels that those things are okay feeling accepted in K-pop spaces and thriving in them. Why is neutral criticism in K-pop so often labeled as hate? Is it honest criticism or just hate in disguise? Because of the cult-like behavior that is fostered from the K-pop industry to the community, and in my opinion, the fact that most K-pop stans online run very young. I just posted a video on this, but a lot of people think being a fan is defending said K-pop idol from whatever. And when there's nothing to defend them from, you'll make something up. It's the fact that some fans feel like that's how they contribute, and that's the only way they can contribute. Streaming on Spotify, buying albums, and defending people fighting on Twitter. Once again, if you're calling artists idols and not artists, you set these fans up to worship these people. And fan wars manifest from the mindset of there can only be one. There's only one that's the best, and only one can be on top and take the spotlight, which is obviously not true. The K-pop community and fandom 100% feels like a cult, which is why anything that's not 100% glazing idols will be seen as hate. In a cult, you blindly accept everything that the leader says as 100% true, and there's no room for critique because that cult leader is worshipped like a god. That cult leader is a god. That's what it feels like within K-pop fandom sometimes. Obviously there is straight up hate, but labeling actual critique that is said for the K-pop idols to create better music, which is literally their job, is hindering them. K-pop fans are not that bad. They absolutely are. I'm going to be 100% honest. They absolutely are. Given everything I just said so far, I think when you get offline and go into real life spaces like cup sleeves and K-pop club nights and stuff like that, you'll definitely meet more normal, well-adjusted people. But both online and in real life, the K-pop community can be super cliquey and racist and sexist, judgmental, misogynistic, homophobic, just rude and mean. And I do believe that is a majority of the K-pop fandom and not a minority. Okay, last one. Good Lord, AI. So I don't know if I've spoken on AI yet, but AI is completely devoid of any creativity, lazy, and harmful for the environment. It is not innovative, and it produces weird slop garbage and shitty incorrect answers. Fuck AI. AI is fucking disgusting. We are legit losing human creativity and imagination. And on top of that, it's making y'all think even more that these K-pop idols are just objects that exist for you. Like this person said, apparently some Cordis fans are making edits with a member who's a minor. Y'all are very weird when it comes to these minors. And when I sit here and say, let's not sexualize or objectify these minors, y'all somehow make me out to be a weirdo when these teenagers are literally being marketed to be objectified and sexualized. And then when fans start acting weird towards them, you guys are like, what? How could this have happened? The K-pop industry marketing these real humans as objects that exist solely for your desire and entertainment creates a lack of boundaries that come from respecting human beings, because you don't see these idols as human beings. You see them as objects of your desire to fulfill and satisfy your needs. That's why they get asked invasive questions at fan calls and at fan signs. That's why you have bitches showing up to fan meets with leashes and K-pop idols being shown like AI generated corn of them and asking them how they feel about it. That's why you have the fan fiction being written, and that's why you have AI images created of making real humans kiss you and do things that they did not consent to because y'all think that they're objects that exist for you and not humans that make art you enjoy. An object does not require consent, which is why y'all feel like y'all are able to do whatever you want to these idols because you see them as objects and not humans. And on that note, woof, I'm gonna go. Goodbye. Fuck AI.